The school bell rang, signaling the start of another ordinary day. Students shuffled through the halls, laughing, shoving, and rushing to class. Among them was a new kid, quiet, keeping to himself, his eyes scanning the room like he was used to watching his back. He wasn't tall or broad, just an average-looking teenager with a calm expression. Nobody paid him much attention at first. But that changed by lunchtime. A group of boys, the usual troublemakers, noticed him sitting alone. They smirked at each other. Fresh meat. Easy target. The leader of the group, a bulky kid with a reputation for picking on weaker students, sauntered over. "Hey, new kid," he said, slamming his hands on the table. "You don't sit here. This is our spot." The new kid didn't flinch. He just looked up, his face unreadable. "Didn't know tables had owners," he replied calmly. The bully's friends laughed, but it wasn't a friendly sound. It was the kind of laughter that meant trouble. The leader's face twisted into a scowl. "You got a smart mouth, huh? Maybe I should teach you some manners." The new kid sighed, like he'd been through this before. He stood up slowly, not backing down but not throwing the first punch either. The cafeteria fell silent. Everyone loved drama, especially when it involved someone getting put in their place. The bully shoved him hard. "You don't belong here, loser." That's when things changed. The new kid didn't stumble. He didn't cower. Instead, his body shifted, balanced, ready. The bully swung a wild punch. The new kid moved fast, dodging like it was nothing. Before anyone could react, he grabbed the bully's wrist, twisted it just enough to make him yelp, and swept his legs out from under him. The bully crashed to the floor, stunned. The cafeteria erupted. Some kids gasped. Others cheered. The bully's friends froze, unsure what to do. The new kid didn't gloat. He just looked down at the guy on the floor and said, "I don't want trouble. But if you bring it, I'll finish it." Nobody had expected that. The quiet new kid wasn't just some pushover. He knew how to fight, really fight. And suddenly, the school's whole pecking order was in question. As he walked away, whispers followed him. "Who is this guy? Where did he learn to move like that?" The answer was a story nobody saw coming. The cafeteria incident spread through the school like wildfire. By the next morning, everyone had heard about the new kid who took down the biggest bully without breaking a sweat. Some kids looked at him with curiosity, others with respect, and a few, especially the bully's friends, with anger. The new kid didn't seem to care. He kept his head down, went to class, and avoided unnecessary attention. But trouble wasn't done with him yet. The bully, humiliated in front of the whole school, wasn't about to let it slide. Between classes, he cornered the new kid near the lockers, his face still burning with embarrassment from the day before. "You got lucky yesterday," he growled, blocking the way. "But you don't know who you're messing with." The new kid didn't tense up. He just stared back, his voice calm but firm. "I told you, I don't want trouble. Walk away." The bully's fists clenched. His pride wouldn't let him back down, not after everyone saw him get dropped. He swung again, this time aiming for the gut. But the new kid was ready. He sidestepped, grabbed the bully's arm, and used his own momentum to slam him against the lockers. The metal rattled loudly. Before the bully could recover, the new kid leaned in close, his voice low. "Last warning. Next time, I won't go easy." The bully's face paled. There was something in the new kid's eyes, something cold, something dangerous. Like he wasn't just talking. A teacher's voice cut through the tension. "What's going on here?" The new kid immediately let go, stepping back like nothing had happened. The bully, still shaken, straightened his shirt and muttered, "Nothing. Just talking." The teacher eyed them both but didn't press further. As she walked away, the bully shot the new kid one last glare before storming off. Word got around even faster this time. The new kid hadn't just won a fight, he'd made the school's toughest bully back down. Twice. That afternoon, a group of kids who usually got picked on gathered near his table at lunch. One of them, a skinny boy with glasses, finally worked up the courage to speak. "Hey, that was really cool what you did back there." The new kid looked up, surprised. He wasn't used to people talking to him. Another kid chimed in. "How'd you learn to fight like that?" For the first time since he arrived, the new kid hesitated. Like he was deciding whether to answer. Finally, he shrugged. "Had to." The kids exchanged glances. There was clearly more to the story, but they didn't push. Instead, the skinny boy smiled. "Well, thanks. That guy's been making our lives miserable for years." The new kid nodded. He didn't say much else, but for the first time, he didn't feel completely alone. Meanwhile, across the school, the bully was fuming. His reputation was on the line, and he wasn't about to let some nobody ruin it. He huddled with his friends, whispering angrily. "This isn't over," he muttered. "Nobody makes me look weak and gets away with it." His friends nodded, but some of them weren't so sure. They had seen the way the new kid moved, like he wasn't just some random transfer student. Like he had training. And they were right. Because the new kid had a past. A past that involved more than just schoolyard fights. A past that would explain why he never panicked, why he never lost control, and why he knew exactly how to end a fight before it even started. But that was a story for another time. For now, the school was buzzing. The quiet new kid had shaken things up, and no one knew what would happen next. The next few days were different. The new kid still kept to himself, but now, people watched him. Some whispered as he passed. Others gave him a wide berth, unsure what to make of him. The bullies who used to shove kids into lockers now hesitated, especially when he was around. But not everyone was afraid. One afternoon, as the new kid walked home, he noticed footsteps behind him. He didn't turn around, but his body tensed slightly. Years of instinct told him when he was being followed. 3 figures stepped out from behind a parked car, the bully from before and 2 older guys the new kid didn't recognize. They looked like they were out of high school, maybe even older. One had a smirk that said he'd done this before. The bully crossed his arms. "Thought you were tough, huh? Let's see how you handle real competition." The new kid scanned them quickly. The older guys were bigger, stronger. This wasn't a fair fight. But he didn't run. He just adjusted his stance slightly, feet shoulder-width apart, hands loose at his sides. The first guy lunged. The new kid ducked under the swing, driving his elbow into the guy's ribs. The attacker grunted, stumbling back. The second guy came from the side, but the new kid twisted, catching his wrist and twisting hard. A sharp cry of pain. The bully hesitated, eyes wide. This wasn't going how he'd planned. The first guy recovered, swinging wildly. The new kid blocked, countered, a quick strike to the jaw. The guy's head snapped back, and he dropped to one knee, dazed. The second guy, still clutching his wrist, backed off. "This kid's crazy." The bully stood frozen, his bravado gone. The new kid locked eyes with him. "You brought them here. You finish it." For a long second, no one moved. Then, the bully swallowed hard and took a step back. "Forget this." The older guys didn't argue. They helped each other up, shooting nervous glances at the new kid before hurrying away. The street was quiet again. The new kid exhaled, rolling his shoulders. He wasn't hurt, but he knew this wouldn't be the end of it. Bullies didn't give up that easily. He turned, and froze. A girl stood a few feet away, backpack slung over one shoulder, watching him. She wasn't scared. Just curious. That was insane, she said. The new kid didn't answer. He wasn't used to people seeing him like this. The girl tilted her head. You're not just some random transfer student, are you? He hesitated. Then, quietly, no. She nodded, like that made sense. I've seen fights before. But you move different. The new kid studied her. Most people either feared him or wanted something from him after seeing what he could do. But this girl just seemed interested. After a moment, he picked up his bag. You shouldn't be around me. It's not safe. She smirked. Funny. Looks like I'm safer with you than anyone else. He didn't know what to say to that. She held out a hand. I live a few blocks over. Walk with me? For the first time in a long time, the new kid hesitated not because of danger, but because he didn't know how to handle someone treating him like a normal person. Finally, he nodded. As they walked, the girl kept talking, asking small questions here and there. Not prying, just talking. And for once, the new kid found himself answering. Not about his past, not about why he could fight like that. But about little things. Halfway to her house, she stopped. You know, people are going to keep testing you. Especially after today. He knew. She looked at him seriously. You could teach them, you know. The kids who get pushed around. Show them how to stand up for themselves. The idea surprised him. He'd spent so long just surviving that he never thought about helping others do the same. Before he could answer, a voice cut through the air. Hey! You! They turned. A group of guys stood at the end of the street, more than before. And they didn't look happy. The girl tensed. Friends of yours? The new kid's expression darkened. Run. She didn't. Not a chance. The guys started toward them, and the new kid knew this wouldn't end with just a few punches. They were outnumbered. Badly. But then. A car screeched to a halt beside them. The door flew open. Get in. The new kid stared. The driver was a face he hadn't seen in years. A face he never expected to see here. His brother. The new kid stood frozen, his brain struggling to process what he was seeing. His brother, older, face more lined than he remembered, leaned across the passenger seat, eyes sharp with urgency. I said get in. Now. Behind them, the approaching group sped up, one pulling something metallic from his pocket. The girl grabbed the new kid's arm. We should go. That snapped him out of it. He shoved her into the back seat and dove in after her just as the tires screeched. The car lurched forward, leaving the shouting figures shrinking in the rearview mirror. The new kid twisted in his seat, staring at his brother. What the hell are you doing here? His brother kept his eyes on the road, jaw tight. Saving your dumb ass, apparently. The girl looked between them, wide-eyed. You two know each other? The new kid didn't answer. His chest burned with too many emotions, anger, confusion, a flicker of something like hope. He hadn't seen his brother in 3 years. Not since the night everything went wrong. His brother took a sharp turn. You're staying at Aunt Rita's, right? Yeah. Change of plans. You're coming with me. Like hell I am. The car went silent except for the hum of the engine. The girl shrank back, sensing the tension. After a long minute, the brother sighed. Look. I know you're pissed. But those guys back there? They're not just some schoolyard bullies. They're connected. The new kid stiffened. Connected to what? His brother's knuckles whitened on the steering wheel. To him. A cold weight settled in the new kid's stomach. He didn't need to ask who he was. The girl cleared her throat. Should I be worried? The brothers exchanged a glance. The older one shook his head slightly, not in front of her. They pulled up to a rundown motel on the edge of town. The brother killed the engine and turned. You. What's your name? Lena. Lena, you live on Cherry Street, right? I'll drop you home. But tonight never happened. Understand? She opened her mouth like she wanted to argue, then nodded. The new kid got out with her while his brother went to check in. Lena grabbed his sleeve. What was all that? Who's him? He shook her off. Forget it. And stay away from me. It's not safe. Her eyes flashed. I don't scare easy. You should. He walked away before she could see how much his hands were shaking. The motel room smelled like cigarettes and bleach. His brother tossed a duffel bag on one of the twin beds. Clothes. Toothbrush. Some cash. The new kid crossed his arms. Start talking. His brother ran a hand over his face. I've been tracking his crew for 6 months. They're branching out, recruiting kids at schools, testing them with petty crap like theft and intimidation. Your little bully problem? That was an audition. For what? To see if you'd fold. When you didn't. The brother mimed an explosion with his hands. Now they're interested. The new kid's skin crawled. He knew how he operated: find the strong, break the weak. So what? You want me to run? I want you to live. His brother's voice cracked. I already lost Dad to that bastard. I'm not losing you too. The words hung between them. The new kid looked away first. His brother pulled out a burner phone. There's a bus at dawn. You take it, you disappear. I'll handle things here. And do what? Get yourself killed? Better me than you. The new kid snatched the phone and threw it against the wall. It shattered. I'm not hiding. Not again. His brother stared at the broken pieces, then slowly smiled, the same reckless grin from when they were kids. Damn. You really are his son. Down the street, Lena paced her bedroom. She should have been scared. Instead, she was pissed. She'd seen the look in the new kid's eyes when his brother mentioned him. Like he was staring at a ghost. She pulled out her laptop and typed in the name she'd glimpsed on the motel keycard. Maplewood Inn. Then she texted the only person she knew with a car, I need a favor. And bring your baseball bat. The motel room fan squeaked as it spun, pushing around stale air. The new kid sat on the edge of the bed, staring at his hands. They were steady, always steady, even when the rest of him felt like it might shake apart. His brother tossed him a protein bar from the duffel bag. Eat. You're too skinny. He caught it without looking. You sound like Dad. A heavy silence. His brother sat across from him, elbows on knees. You remember what Dad taught us? That last summer before he killed him? The new kid's voice was flat. Yeah. I remember. The training had been brutal. Waking up before dawn to run drills. Learning how to turn everyday objects into weapons. How to spot an ambush. How to take a hit and keep moving. Their dad hadn't been preparing them for schoolyard fights, he'd been preparing them for war. And then one night, the men came. And their dad told them to run. The new kid's fingers dug into the mattress. Why now? After all this time? His brother leaned forward. Because he heard rumors. Some kid at a high school taking down trained guys like it was nothing. He put it together. A chill ran down the new kid's spine. He never forgot a face. Especially not the son of the man who'd almost destroyed his operation. Outside, a car door slammed. Both brothers went still. The new kid was on his feet in an instant, back against the wall beside the window. He peered through the crack in the curtains. His shoulders relaxed slightly. It's just some drunk guy. His brother didn't smile. We can't stay here. They'll check motels first. As if on cue, the burner phone on the floor buzzed, the one his brother had kept hidden. A single text from an unknown number. They know where you are. The blood drained from the older brother's face. We need to move. Now. Lena crouched behind a dumpster in the motel parking lot, her heart pounding. Her friend Miguel knelt beside her, gripping his baseball bat like a lifeline. This is insane, Miguel whispered. We should call the cops. And say what? We're stalking some mysterious brothers because, why? Lena peeked around the dumpster just in time to see two figures slip out of a ground floor room. The new kid and his brother moved like shadows, sticking to the dark spaces between streetlights. Then she saw the other car, black SUV with tinted windows, rolling slowly into the lot. Miguel sucked in a breath. Okay, now we call the cops. Lena grabbed his arm. Wait. Look. The SUV stopped near the brothers' abandoned room. 3 men got out, all built like they spent more time in prison than the gym. One carried something long and narrow under his jacket. The new kid's brother saw them too. He grabbed his brother's shoulder and shoved him toward the tree line behind the motel. Go. I'll lead them. The new kid didn't budge. Not this time. The first gunshot cracked through the night. The new kid reacted before his brain fully processed the sound. He tackled his brother to the ground as the bullet splintered the motel wall behind them. Stay down. He rolled them both behind a parked truck as another shot rang out. His brother's face was pale under the streetlights. You idiot, his brother hissed. I told you to run. The new kid ignored him, scanning their surroundings. Dumpsters. A few scattered cars. The dark stretch of woods beyond the parking lot. Then movement caught his eye, 2 figures near the dumpster. His stomach dropped. Lena? One of the armed men was circling that way. The new kid made a decision. He grabbed a loose chunk of asphalt and hurled it at the SUV's windshield. The crack drew all 3 men's attention. Hey, he shouted, stepping into view. Looking for me? His brother grabbed for him. What are you doing? The new kid didn't answer. He was already moving, drawing them away from the dumpster, toward the open lot where they'd have less cover. The lead man smiled, raising his weapon. Smart kid. Makes this easy. The new kid braced himself. He'd faced knives before. Even a gun once. But never 3 trained men at once. Then. A thunk as something heavy connected with the gunman's head. He crumpled. Lena stood behind him, Miguel's bat in her hands. Oops. The remaining 2 men spun toward her. The new kid didn't hesitate. He lunged, driving his elbow into the closest man's throat. The man gagged, stumbling back. The last one raised his gun. A car engine roared. Headlights blinded them as a sedan screeched between Lena and the gunman. The passenger door flew open. Get in, screamed the driver. It was the motel clerk. The sedan swerved through back alleys, the clerk white-knuckling the wheel. I told your brother not to stay here. I told him they'd find you. In the back seat, Lena clutched the baseball bat like she might need to use it again. The new kid's brother kept checking the rearview mirror. The new kid watched the clerk. Why help us? The clerk's eyes flicked to him in the mirror. Your dad got my cousin out when he burned that warehouse. Family debt. The name hung unspoken between them. The new kid looked away first. Lena leaned forward. Okay, someone needs to explain who he is before I. Tires screeched behind them. The SUV was back. The clerk cursed and slammed the gas. Hold on. As the car careened through the night, the new kid met his brother's eyes. They both knew, running wasn't an option anymore. Somewhere in the city, he was waiting. And the only way out was through. The clerk's sedan swerved down another alley, tires screeching against wet pavement. Rain had started to fall, turning the streets into dark mirrors that reflected the flashing neon signs of the city's underbelly. In the back seat, Lena gripped the seat in front of her, knuckles white. Where are we even going? The clerk didn't answer. His eyes kept darting to the rearview mirror, watching the SUV's headlights slice through the rain behind them. The new kid's brother turned in his seat, glaring at Lena. You shouldn't be here. This isn't some game. She shot back, I just saved your asses with a baseball bat. I think I've earned some answers. The new kid stayed silent. His body was coiled tight, ready to move at any second. He knew these streets, the alleys, the dead ends, the places you could disappear if you knew where to look. His dad had made sure of that. The clerk suddenly yanked the wheel, sending them skidding into a narrow side street. The SUV overshot, brakes screeching as it shot past the turn. Ha! Miguel punched the air. We lost them. The clerk didn't relax. For now. He pulled up behind a boarded-up laundromat and killed the engine. Out. Quick. They piled out into the rain. The clerk led them to a rusted service door, tapping a code into a keypad hidden under peeling paint. The door buzzed open. Inside was a makeshift safe house, a single room with a couch, a table covered in maps, and a wall of monitors showing security feeds from around the city. Lena whistled. You're way more than just a motel clerk. He shrugged. Side gig. The new kid's brother went straight to the monitors, scanning the feeds. They'll regroup. They always do. The new kid finally spoke, his voice low. Then we stopped running. Everyone turned to look at him. He met his brother's gaze. We find him. End this. His brother shook his head. It's not that simple. He's got an army. We're just two of the only people he's ever feared, the new kid interrupted. Or have you forgotten? A flicker of something passed between them, memory, pain, the unspoken weight of their father's legacy. The clerk cleared his throat. If you're really doing this, I might know where to start. He pulled a photo from the table and slid it toward them. It showed a sleek downtown high-rise. His new front penthouse office. He'll be there tomorrow night, big meeting with investors. Lena leaned in. Investors in what? The clerk's smile was grim. Whatever makes money. Drugs. Guns. People. Miguel paled. We should definitely call the cops. The new kid's brother snorted. Half the cops in this city are on his payroll. The new kid picked up the photo, studying it. We go in quiet. Get proof. Then we burn it all down. Lena raised an eyebrow. That's the plan? Burn it all down? He looked at her. You got a better one? She opened her mouth, then shut it. The clerk sighed. I'll get you gear. But you're on your own after that. 2 hours later, the rain had eased to a drizzle. The safe house was quiet. The clerk had left to scout the high-rise. Miguel had passed out on the couch. The new kid stood by the window, watching water drip from a broken gutter. Lena came up beside him. You okay? He didn't answer right away. Then, you should go home. Not a chance. You don't know what you're getting into. She crossed her arms. Then tell me. For a long moment, he just stared out the window. When he finally spoke, his voice was barely above a whisper. My dad was a cop. Undercover. He got too close to him, found out too much. When he tried to bring it all down. The new kid's jaw tightened. They made it look like an accident. But we knew. Lena swallowed. And your brother? Went after them. Disappeared for 2 years. I thought he was dead. He looked down at his hands. Then I started hearing rumors. About some guy causing trouble for his operations. I knew it had to be him. Lena studied his face, the hardness there, the grief under the anger. So now you finish what your dad started. The new kid met her eyes. Now we finish it. Across the room, his brother's phone buzzed. He picked it up, read the message, and went very still. We've got a problem. He turned the screen toward them. A security feed showed the black SUV, parked outside Lena's house. The room went dead silent. Lena's breath caught in her throat as she stared at the screen. The SUV sat ominously in front of her house, its headlights off but engine still running. A shadowy figure stood on her porch, peering through the front window. Miguel shot up from the couch. Dude, they're at her house? How do they even know where she lives? The new kid's brother cursed under his breath. They must have followed you earlier. Or ran your plates. He grabbed a pistol from the table and checked the magazine. Lena's hands trembled. Her mom was supposed to be working the night shift at the hospital. The house should be empty. Should be. But what if she'd come home early? What if? The new kid was already moving, snatching a set of car keys from the hook by the door. We're going. Now. His brother blocked his path. No. This is exactly what he wants. Divide us. Make us react. The new kid's voice dropped to a dangerous growl. Move. For a tense second, neither brother budged. Then the older one exhaled sharply and stepped aside. Fine. But we do this smart. He grabbed a second pistol and tossed it to the clerk. You drive. We'll need backup. Lena grabbed the new kid's arm as they rushed out. Thank you, she whispered. He didn't respond, but his jaw clenched tighter. The clerk's sedan screeched to a halt 2 blocks from Lena's house. The SUV was still there, now with 2 more figures lurking near the side gate. The new kid's brother peered through binoculars. 3 visible. Probably 1 more around back. He turned to Lena. Any way in they wouldn't expect? She nodded shakily. The old treehouse in the backyard. There's a ladder down to my bedroom window. The new kid checked the pistol tucked into his waistband. Lena and I go that way. You two cause a distraction out front. His brother hesitated, then gripped his shoulder. 5 minutes. If you're not out by then, we're coming in hot. A silent understanding passed between them. Then the new kid was moving, pulling Lena down a darkened alleyway between houses. The treehouse was older than Lena remembered, the wood creaking dangerously under their weight. She carefully lifted the hidden trapdoor that led to the roof below her window. Wait here, the new kid whispered. She grabbed his wrist. That's my house. His eyes flickered with something like respect before he nodded. Together, they slid down onto the roof and crept to her window. Inside, the bedroom was dark, but the door was slightly ajar, light from the hallway spilling in. Someone had already been here. The new kid pressed a finger to his lips and eased the window open. They slipped inside just as heavy footsteps creaked down the hallway. Lena's heart pounded so loud she was sure they could hear it. The new kid motioned for her to hide under the bed while he positioned himself behind the door. The footsteps stopped outside. The doorknob turned. A hulking figure stepped inside, sweeping a flashlight beam across the room. It lingered on the rumpled bedsheets, the half-open closet. The new kid struck like a viper. One hand clamped over the man's mouth while the other drove a precise strike to his neck. The man crumpled without a sound. Lena scrambled out from under the bed as the new kid caught the falling flashlight. Is he just unconscious? He checked the man's pockets and pulled out a phone. The screen showed an active call. Status update. The voice from the phone was calm, cultured, and utterly chilling. The new kid's entire body went rigid. He knew that voice. Lena saw the recognition in his eyes and slowly took the phone. With a courage she didn't know she had, she affected a deeper tone. All clear. No one here. A pause. Then, you're not Rodriguez. The line went dead. A second later, shouts erupted from the front yard. Then gunfire. The new kid yanked Lena down as bullets tore through her bedroom wall. They know. Out front, the clerk ducked behind a car as return fire shattered the windshield above him. The new kid's brother crouched nearby, radio in hand. Change of plans, he shouted over the gunfire. We go in. They moved in tandem, one providing covering fire while the other advanced. The clerk took out a gunman near the porch just as the front door burst open. The new kid emerged, shielding Lena with his body as he returned fire. His brother's eyes widened as he saw the blood streaking his brother's arm. You're hit. The new kid shook his head. Not mine. Behind them, two more figures dragged themselves out from the house, clutching wounds. The SUV's engine roared to life as the remaining men scrambled to retreat. The clerk took aim. Let them go, the new kid's brother ordered. We need one conscious to report back. As the SUV peeled away, Lena sank to her knees on the lawn. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. The new kid knelt beside her, his own breathing ragged. You okay? She looked up at him, really looked. Saw the fear beneath the anger, the way his hands trembled when he thought no one was watching. This wasn't just some trained fighter. This was a kid, just like her. A kid who'd lost too much. Lena took a deep breath and stood. We can't keep running. The brothers exchanged glances. The older one nodded slowly. Then we end it tonight. The clerk checked his watch. Meetings in 3 hours. Just enough time to prepare. As they gathered their gear, Lena noticed the new kid staring at her house, at the bullet holes in the siding, the shattered windows. His expression darkened with guilt. She stepped into his line of sight. Hey. This isn't on you. He shook his head. Everything that happens next is. The words hung heavy in the air as they loaded into the cars. Somewhere in the city, he was waiting. And tonight, one way or another, it would be over. The high-rise loomed against the night sky, its glass exterior reflecting the city lights like a cold, unblinking eye. From their vantage point across the street, the new kid counted 12 floors to the penthouse. 12 floors between them and the man who destroyed his family. His brother adjusted the earpiece connecting them to the clerk monitoring security feeds from a nearby van. Remember, in and out. Get the evidence, plant the devices, and let the authorities handle the rest. Lena tightened the straps of her borrowed bulletproof vest. And if the cops really are on his payroll? The new kid checked the small camera disguised as a button on his shirt. Then we leak it to every news outlet in the city. Miguel, still pale but determined, handed out earpieces from the duffel bag. I still say we should have brought more grenades. The clerk snorted. You watch too many movies, kid. A tense silence fell as they made final preparations. The new kid's brother pulled him aside. If things go south. They won't. The older brother's grip tightened on his shoulder. If they do, you get Lena out. No matter what. The unspoken meaning hung between them, even if it means leaving me behind. The new kid shook his head but didn't argue. Some promises couldn't be spoken aloud. The service elevator creaked as it ascended to the 10th floor, the highest floor they could reach without keycard access. The new kid's pulse remained steady, his breathing controlled. Beside him, Lena fidgeted with her sleeve. "You good?" he murmured. She met his eyes. "Better question, are you?" He didn't answer. The truth was, he'd dreamed of this moment for years. Played it out in his head 1,000 different ways. Now that it was here, all he felt was cold focus. The elevator dinged. The brothers moved first, clearing the hallway with practiced efficiency. The clerk had disabled the cameras, but they had maybe 10 minutes before someone noticed. At the stairwell to the penthouse, they hit their first obstacle, 2 armed guards. The new kid's brother held up 3 fingers. 1. The guards laughed about some basketball game. 2. One checked his watch, shifting his weight. 3. The brothers moved as one. The new kid took the guard on the left with a precise strike to the carotid. His brother disarmed the other with a twist of the wrist, following up with a knee to the solar plexus. Both men dropped silently. Lena exhaled shakily. That was efficient. Miguel quickly zip-tied the guard's hands while the new kid swiped their keycard. The stairwell to the penthouse stretched upward like a tunnel. Somewhere above, voices murmured, one smooth and commanding. Him. The new kid's hands curled into fists. His brother gave him a warning look. Stay focused. The penthouse doors were reinforced steel, but the keycard got them through. The new kid pressed his ear to the crack. Delivery issues in the South District, but we've handled the witnesses. A chuckle. His chuckle. Always so thorough, Rodriguez. The new kid signaled the plan, his brother would take the left flank, the clerk the right. Lena and Miguel would stay by the door as lookouts. A deep breath. Then. They burst in. The penthouse office was all sleek black marble and floor-to-ceiling windows. 5 men stood around a conference table covered in maps and documents. At the head of the table, he turned slowly, mid-50s, silver-haired, dressed in a tailored suit that probably cost more than Lena's house. For a heartbeat, no one moved. Then he smiled. The Martinez brothers. I wondered when you'd come knocking. The new kid's brother kept his gun trained on the crime boss. Everyone on the ground. Now. 2 bodyguards reached for their weapons. The clerk fired 2 warning shots into the ceiling. Next ones aren't warnings. As the men dropped to their knees, the crime boss barely blinked. Dramatic as your father, I see. The new kid stepped forward, camera capturing every detail. We know everything. The drugs. The weapons. The cops on your payroll. Yet here you are instead of the police. The crime boss tilted his head. Why is that, I wonder? Lena's voice cut through the tension. Because they wanted to look you in the eye first. For the first time, the mask slipped. The crime boss's eyes narrowed as he studied her. And who's this? The new kid moved between them. No one you'll ever touch. A tense silence. Then the crime boss sighed. Rodriguez? One of the kneeling men suddenly lunged. Everything happened at once. The clerk fired. Rodriguez went down screaming. The remaining bodyguards scrambled for cover. The new kid's brother shouted for everyone to get down. And the crime boss pulled a pistol from his desk. The new kid saw it in slow motion, the barrel swinging toward his brother's back. He moved without thinking. The gunshot echoed like thunder. Lena screamed as the new kid collapsed, crimson blooming across his shirt. His brother roared, emptying half his magazine into the crime boss's chest. The remaining bodyguards froze, hands raised. The clerk rushed to the new kid's side. Kid. Kid. Look at me. The new kid gasped, clutching his ribs. Vest took most of it. Lena pressed her hands over the wound, tears streaming. You idiot. You absolute idiot. His lips twitched. Yeah. Sirens wailed in the distance, real cops this time, alerted by the gunfire. The clerk checked his watch. 2 minutes till the devices wiped the servers. We need to go. The new kid's brother hauled him up, slinging his arm over his shoulder. You don't get to die today, little brother. As they staggered toward the exit, the new kid glanced back at the crime boss's body. The man who'd haunted his nightmares for years lay motionless, his expensive suit ruined by blood. It should have felt like victory. All he felt was tired. 3 days later, the hospital room was crowded. Lena sat by the window, tossing grapes at Miguel whenever he dozed off. The clerk had smuggled in real coffee. The new kid's brother argued with a nurse about discharge paperwork. On TV, news anchors debated the shocking corruption scandal rocking the city, dozens of arrests, incriminating documents leaked to every major outlet. The new kid shifted gingerly, his ribs protesting. The bullet had cracked a bone but missed anything vital. Lucky, the doctors said. His brother caught his eye. What now? He thought about it. About running. About hiding. About all the ways this could still go wrong. Then he looked at Lena, who smiled despite the dark circles under her eyes. At Miguel, who'd somehow stolen a hospital pudding cup. At his brother, alive and solid beside him. Now, he said quietly, we live. Outside, the sun rose over a city that didn't know their names, and never would.